r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What's a prank someone has done that was straight up malicious? I sleepwalk and have told people not to scare me while asleep. A friend of mine thought it would be funny to pretend she was the girl from The Ring. I ended up kicking her really hard and could have hurt her. But the worst prank I saw? It was straight up cruel. A friend of mine, Carol, took her father's ashes to be released on a mountaintop. She had his urn for about 2 months before she went. Carol didn't check the urn, because why would you? When she went to release the ashes, glitter fell out. Her boyfriend, who she dumped that day, had poured that into the back garden, replaced the ashes with glitter, and thought it was hilarious. I have a friend that is allergic to a bunch of different fruits to varying degrees. His worst one is cranberries. So much so that if there is like cranberry juice or cranberry sauce out in a kitchen, he gets a mild reaction just from the air. He started dating a girl and eventually went over to her house. The girl, according to her own story, explicitly told her mom about my friend's allergies. Well, apparently the mom didn't believe someone could be allergic to cranberries or something and snuck them into a dish. Well, he eventually got to eating dinner. Severe allergic reaction. Had to go to the hospital and everything. The girl's mom swears to this day that it was supposed to be a harmless prank to prove he wasn't allergic to cranberries. Any of those cheating pranks people do on their partner. Imagine coming home to see your boyfriend or girlfriend in bed with another person, in their underwear, and just saying it's just a prank. Prank or not, if I had a boyfriend and they did this to me, I'd dump them. My high school had a pool. So every year we did a swimming unit for PE. This meant changing into swim trunks at the start of the class, changing back at the end. So after class, we're all changing back into our street clothes. All of us except for Pat. Pat is holding his tighty whities in his hand, staring at huge, chunky skid marks. And someone notices him doing it, and they get everyone else's attention. In seconds it's turned into a locker room full of teenagers pointing and laughing, and Pat didn't know what to do about it. He looked around at us, threw the underwear in the garbage, and declared, "Somebody crapped my pants." He spent the next 3 years being known as the guy who crapped his pants and tried to blame someone else for it. But senior year, days before graduation, a friend of mine was reminiscing about his high school hijinks, and he told me, "Oh, yeah. One time when everyone was swimming, I went into the locker room and just took a dump in someone's underwear and put it back. He didn't even know whose underwear it was. Didn't even care. Just thought it was funny." When I was in school, a guy from school started talking to me online. He seemed really nice and he suggested we hang sometime. We arranged a time and place. I wore my favorite outfit and put some makeup on and headed out to meet him. After about 10 minutes I started to wonder if he would actually come. After 15, what seemed like half my school year showed up. Some of them even quoting things I had said to the guy in messages. This had been orchestrated over weeks. I couldn't contain my anger and sadness and I screamed and swore at them. I literally sobbed, surrounded by a braying mob of my peers. When I left, some of them even tried to follow me home to antagonize me further. To add to the hilarity of their little afternoon torture session. Within a week, the videos of me crying and screaming were being circulated around the whole school. The guy? I confronted him and he literally said, "It was just a prank. You made it worse for yourself by reacting that way." A cousin thought it would be funny to add heaps of extra chili powder to the food my grandma prepared for about 15 guests, wasting all her effort in the ingredients. My oldest brother tends to pull pranks that are actually just him causing panic and nobody ever thinks it's funny. One Thanksgiving he very realistically pretending he was choking for over a minute to the point of pretending he was passing out. Another time he moved our aunt's car a block over and ran in the house screaming, "I just saw someone steal your car." They sped off. "Did you leave the keys in it?" And our cousin ran outside, slipped on the icy porch, and fractured her hip. I can think of several other times he's done similar things. He'll be 50 next year. I liked this guy for 5 years and he knew it. One day he asked me out, my dream come true. After a week of dating he told me he was ending it and that he only dated me because of a prank his friends dared him to do. The worst thing is that they were my friends too. Were being the key word. Go watch old Punk'd episodes. Most did not age well. Armor. Youngest of 5. Back in the 80s 90s my parents wrote it off as horseplay. 2 worst pranks my brothers did was invite me to hang out with them on the roof of our house while our parents were out, just to push me off. Broke my leg. Other time they were playing Mario 3 on the NES and started excitedly yelling for me to come quick see this. My oldest brother was waiting for me with his baseball bat. Was trying to hit me in the stomach but aimed a little too high. Cracked 2 of my ribs as I was running to see. Part that really pissed me off back then was they got away with it cause it was an accident. We were playing. Haven't seen nor spoke to my family since I moved out 17 years ago. Screw toxic people. Watched a proposal video once where the would-be fiancé was an ER nurse. The proposer thought the following idea would be an absolutely smashing one for a proposal to his girlfriend. He got some co-workers and acquaintances that his girlfriend didn't know very well to pose as paramedics. He was wheeled into the ER when his girlfriend was working as on a stretcher by his buddies acting as paramedics, all bloody and cut up with a neck brace and bandaged. The story was he was in a horrific car accident. The girlfriend is hysterical, sobbing uncontrollably, but yet she's working so she's a nurse first and girlfriend second, and this is a patient first and boyfriend second, so in between her sobs she's frantically prepping for the doctor, checking vitals, making sure he is all okay etc. Then suddenly up pops boyfriend, rips off the neck brace, confidently and competently hops of the stretcher, walks over to his girlfriend with a massive grin on his face and gets down on one knee with the ring in hand. Amazingly it turned out the other doctors and nurses were in on it as well. Everyone is cheering and clapping while she's crying her eyes out. Edit. Cliffhanger resolved. Unbelievably she accepted his proposal. I think her tears of fear and stress turned into tears of joy and probably more relief that her boyfriend was okay as she just sobbed harder and started nodding her head yes. When he stood up they got a bug hug in. If I were her I would have smacked that thing out of his hand. Kneed him in the crotch so he had a real injury and dumped him then and there. 3 guys at school beat the snot out of the special ed kid. But it was just a joke bro. Get over it. Unfortunately for them, the older brother of said special ed kid was a patched outlaw biker. All 3 of them got taught a long, hard lesson. In class someone had sent another classmate a notice of deportation in his mailbox. His family immigrated from Mexico. It gave him and his family such horrible anxiety, despite immigrating legally. The guy who sent it thought it was hilarious. I never understood how someone can get glee from inflicting so much pain. Edit. He knew it was his family's mailbox cause they lived on the same block, and were the only Hispanic family on the block. Gotta love small towns, right? I know someone who got sack tapped hard and internal bleeding lead to losing a nut. He was already an effeminate guy and mean people would call him one nut Nancy. There was a rumor in my school that one guy lost a nut when a roller coaster harness came down on it. This, of course, opened him up to a whole shitstorm of ridicule, and I really felt bad for the dude. He eventually decided to retort with, "Yeah, well I was born with 3 balls, so I'm normal now." I still have no idea why he thought that would help things. Put up my PS4 for sale on Craigslist without the intention of selling it. Got 2 potential buyers, and got both of them to describe themselves to me. I used the description of the opposite person to describe myself. I then told both of them to meet me at the same time in the same location near a bus stop. I sat on the bench watching them argue with each other about who was selling it. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.